I thought that this thing was going to go away. I thought that the last conversation that we were going to have about this mother, her son, Chicago, all of this other type of stuff, what happened late at night, that we were done addressing this. And so I had largely been prepared to have a completely different conversation as my opening story that I wanted to address. Because what did I tell y'all? What do I always tell y'all? And the reason why this is called the Millionaire Morning Show is because it always comes back down to the money, just as predicted. And so a lot of people always say, well, that's a news story or this and that and so on and so forth. Listen, whether you're talking about politics, whether you're talking about real estate, corporate America, your job, athletes, the city of Chicago, some of these most egregious stuff that's happening in the streets on a regular basis, it always comes back down to the money. If you can't see the long-term play in this stuff, then you are crazy. You are disillusioned. You have no clue of what's going on. If you couldn't see this a mile away, and again, it always comes back down to the money. So apparently there was a press conference, and you guys sent me this yesterday. And so I said, oh, okay, well, I guess that we're going to lead off with that because we're going to just address this right away. Apparently there was a press conference in which the mother that was released as a result of being charged and then the charges dropped, the mother that was in the skerfuffle and then her son coming in and, everything that happened with that whole situation is allegedly suing the city of Chicago. If y'all telling me that it's any other city that's more poorly ran than Chicago, I will not believe you. I am not going for it. I don't think that there's another city that is as bad as Chicago. Not even a little bit. I mean, they can't win for losing. They can't lose for winning. Even when you drop the charges, you still lose. The city of Chicago has got to be the pit of America right now, culturally, financially, when it comes to having their elected officials not being able to make the right decisions, not being able to have the foresight of what's going to happen. But neither here nor there. So I'm going to go ahead, and I have not watched the press conference yet. I just looked at the title of the video, and so I said, as usual, I'm going to react to this in real time and see what's happening out here in these streets. So again, apparently the city of Chicago is under fire because now it's a lawsuit, in which I like to call a retirement plan. So let me go ahead and deep dive into this video again. I have not seen it. I might have to scrub through it because I've seen smaller clips. This is the full press conference, but I want to deep dive into this, and then hopefully we can mine out exactly what's going on out here in the city of Chicago. Make sure you guys hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. I don't know if you really hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, so I can't I can't go to a Teach commercial if you underrepresenting in the likes department. But let's go ahead and get into the press conference. I might have to scrub through this a little bit. Oh my God. The first thing that I noticed is the law group in the back. You see it?
Good morning.
Oh my God.
Morning. And I'm just spelling my name, Ari, Attorney Ari Williams, A-R-I Williams, Common
Kind of
Spell.
low.
Thank you all for being here today. I want to first thank the Cook County State's Attorney, Kim Fox, for doing the right thing and dismissing the charges. This is what justice looks like. I also want to acknowledge everyone who has been impacted by this in any way. To everyone who has supported Ms. Hood and her family through this trying time, we thank you. Yesterday, criminal charges of first-degree murder were dismissed against Ms. Hood and her 14-year-old son, rightfully so. Now that she is free, we think it is important that her story is told and that she is heard.
I believe that lawyers have a place in this society. I think that they are necessary. Um, is this what we would call ambulance chasing? A version of it? I don't know. Let's go ahead and hear the rest of it, and then let's react to what's being communicated right here. Because all of the acting and the product placement in the background, and then the seriousness of the face in order to emphasize something and all of that.
Hello, everyone. I'm Carlisha, Carlishia. Last name is Hood, Hood. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the support for me and my family. On June 18th of this year, my life changed.
Which was 10 days ago from today.
My son's life changed. I've experienced pain in many ways that I would never have thought. Never. What happened to me was totally unnecessary. Never in a million years would I have imagined being brutally attacked, beaten, and then arrested. I am thankful that the Cook County State's Attorney dismissed the case. I am also thankful to have my son with me and by my side, and also his charges being dismissed. I thank my family for supporting me.
All throughout this process and this entire thing, and the biggest thing that has been on my mind, the biggest question that's been on my mind is, where is the father in this situation? You know what I'm saying? Like, I think, and this is the thing that people continue to ignore, which in my opinion is the bigger problem within our communities. Now, you can argue one way and say, well, fathers need to be present and fighting to be in their kids' lives or whatever, so on and so forth. Well, we don't know what her specific situation is. Or we can say that women often at times choose to be single mothers. Well, we don't know what her specific situation is. But culturally, we know that it is a cultural norm that within the black community specifically, and more importantly, it is now being championed within our culture to where it is okay to be a single parent. And so I have to ask the question on a regular basis, how is all of this taking place, and would this have been prevented? Because again, when you choose to have a child and you choose to, subject your child to the conditions, obviously, that we know statistically speaking is worse for them when you're raising a child in a single parent household, which again, I don't know if she's single or not, but I can't imagine, right, that my wife and my kid would be going through this or going outside at that time of night and then getting into this situation in the first place. But neither here nor there. I'm sure that over time we'll see this play out. I'm always weirded out, and it's always wild to me that this is playing out, but they're not tapping into and looking to get insight and information from a man. But let's continue, y'all.
And the people all over the world, the people did not play. Yeah. And I just thank God everything was revealed.
Everything was not revealed, in my opinion, because I want to know what the conversations were that ensued prior to that happening. I have so many other questions personally, right? I have no clue, because we're still, even 10 days later after the charges was filed, after the charges was dropped, we don't know what was really said. We don't know what happened that led up to that conversation. We don't know a lot of different things. So, for them to say that, the story was told and all of this other type of stuff, from where or who? Because I think it's an injustice on men, and that it's unfair. And I also think it's an injustice that, we can have the court of public opinion in which people would come to the aid, but they're not necessarily actually know the full story, this is just wild to me.
And just everybody who has been praying and rooting for us, I just thank God for them. That did not go unnoticed. You are all not forgotten, and we are.
And I don't think that she should have went to jail. Personally, I don't think that a person should spend the rest of their life in jail. Once they get to the point to where they got to defend themselves from somebody putting their hands on them, because the dude should have never put his hands on her in the first place. So that's not even an issue that we're talking about right now. But I want to hear the rest of the press conference.
Praying for all the families affected by this horrible tragedy. I am now in the process of healing and putting my family's life back together. During this trying time, we ask if, we can please have space to rest and recover from this life-altering situation.
While we doing a press conference, to now, which we haven't got to that part yet, advertise for the law firm and then possibly get a settlement with the city of Chicago to go and get that bag. But let me rest and let me be quiet. All right, I'm with you. Well played.
And that you all continue to keep us in your prayers.
Because they called all of the news stations, because you see all the little microphones over there. But I'm well played.
In the near future, I will be able to respond to outpouring of support. Again, I just need a little time to heal and to just get my life back with my baby. Thank you all from the bottom of my heart.
Take your time, baby.
That's it.
Am I insensitive? Or am I just jaded by the realities of life? Am I insensitive, or am I jaded, or just naturally skeptical of what it is that I'm seeing here? Because I mean, it's not like I don't know if they working with HD cameras, if that's a 4K camera, if that's just a 1080p, if they streaming this and that, whatever, so on and so forth. But it seems like it's a lot of truth and a lot of acting in there. And then you got the compassionate attorney that's right next to her, patting her on the back. Well played. But let me play a little bit more before I give my thoughts.
Yeah, I know.
It's all right, Carlisha. It's all right, baby. You're strong. You're strong.
Where's the tears at? Maybe I missed them. Maybe I can see them. Or maybe I can't, and they there, and I just can't identify it. But where are these tears at? And again, I can't imagine going through that. But to know, and this is just me personally, to know that you got that big dog payday that's on the other end of that conversation, despite what you've been through, or despite who lost their life, because the other guys, they family, they ain't got nobody else. Like whoever that guy was that put his hands on her, that wasn't supposed to put her hands on her, that's probably 10 feet deep right now and all of that. I know their family is probably broken up too as a result of it, because you know how your family members are, right? Regardless of I see y'all do it all the time. Free Ray, and you have the free such and such t-shirt, but that same dude was out here causing havoc, wreaking havoc and doing that. And so people still feel a certain type of way about their people, right? But maybe I missed it. Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can see some more tears.
Oh, Jesus.
You're strong. You got this. God bless you. Yes.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Attorney Brandon Brown. That's Brandon, last name Brown, BROWN. This morning, we filed a 4-count complaint on behalf of Carlisha Hood. This complaint is being filed against the city of Chicago and the defendant officers who were responsible for her arrest. The complaint contains counts of malicious.
This is why it doesn't pay to be a police officer. Again, when I had the conversation with y'all and I said, listen, fellas, stay out of it. You know, you had the community activist over there and he was talking about, you know, where's the people that didn't intervene and all of that other type of stuff. Listen, the police officers intervened and they getting complained about and sued, allegedly. A 4-count complaint about the arresting officers. No, the officers follow protocol, and then it becomes the prosecuting or the district attorney and all of the, you know, whoever it is that you start to roll up with that determines whether or not they want to actually, you know, prosecute or whatever. But they just followed whatever their training was and their protocol. But of course, you know, listen, the officers. Now, if the officers is getting lawed up and complained about and sued and all of this other type of stuff on behalf of the city of Chicago, then what do you expect us? This is why guys and men and people in general choose to walk away or withdraw themselves from a circumstance or a situation, because there is no happy ending when you start to intervene or participate in or with something that is not going to do you. This is why guys are walking away, because the minute that you get involved in it, then your life is completely changed as a result of it. You don't know what's going. Yo, I didn't heard of people literally getting sued for administering CPR, trying to help somebody or whatever, so on and so forth. And then they'd be like, do something. Nope. Because you're not about to ruin my life. There is no happy ending for men. Listen. There are laws and procedures in place for a reason, and don't let nobody convince you that you need to go out there and crash out. This is what's going to happen as a result of it.
Prosecution, false arrest, and intentional infliction of emotional distress.
Intentional infliction of emotional distress. I know it seems like it's a lot of big words, but they don't really, it's not. Intentional infliction. That means that these officers and the prosecutor's attorney, they wanted to inflict emotional distress. Now, I'm sure that they was laying in their bed, laid up with their chick or laid up with their husband or whatever, so on and so forth, and they didn't want to get called over into the scene and go and pick up this body off the ground from this guy that just got his muffin top peeled back because he shouldn't have been putting his hands on a woman that we don't even know what happened in the argument that ensued prior to it, from a 14-year-old that was then, you know, in my opinion, used as a weapon in order to maybe protect or whatever it is that you want to look at it at. But I'm sure none of these people was looking forward to this, nor was they intentionally trying to put this thing together. However, this is the prize that you get from being a public servant. This is the prize that you get from being a public servant.
We do not take what happened to Ms. Hood lightly, and we intend to pursue this lawsuit, and there will be additional lawsuits forthcoming. I want to add that Ms. Hood and myself, we recognize that there has been a life loss, and so we are praying for the family of this man who lost his life. I don't want that to be forgotten. We appreciate that lives were affected by this incident, and so we don't want to.
We appreciate that lives were affected by this.
We don't want to dilute or diminish that. However, Ms. Hood and her son, we believe were wrong, and we intend to pursue that. Ms. Hood is not going to be answering any direct questions. Myself and Attorney Williams will be answering a limited number of questions. However, once Ms. Hood has time, and keep in mind that Ms. Hood was just released yesterday afternoon, and so she needs time. But once she is able to process and reconnect with her family, she will present herself again, and we will make her available, but not right now. We're asking that you give her space. We understand that there have been a number of people going to her home, attempting to contact her at her home.
Now that's egregious. That's messed up. Stay away from this chick's home. Stop trying to find out where she lived. Don't try to find out where she worked or anything like that. Like, people shouldn't be trying to. It's not that deep. Like, the story is not that deep. React to whatever is being presented by the news or whatever, so on and so forth, and keep it moving from there. But please stop being extra when it comes to that.
We also recognize that there have been things going on in the World Wide Web that may not necessarily be genuine or without malice.
Yes.
And so we would ask each and every one of you out there to keep this family in your prayers. Protect this family.
Yes.
Protect this family. And I have good reason to believe that they need protection. And with that, we would open it up to any questions.
All right. So there it is. There you have it. I don't really want to see whatever the questions are. I'm not interested or whatever like that. If y'all want to watch the rest of the video or whatever, then you're more than likely to do so. But again, it's unfortunate that it even got to this point to where somebody had to lose their life. That the biggest victim in this situation, in my opinion, is the 14-year-old kid. And now we have in a situation or a press conference to where there has to be a lawsuit, and we're having conversations about the arresting officers and all of that because everybody is catching a shrapnel as a result of it. It's very, very unfortunate, and I guess we're going to play it by ear and see what happens.